growing up poor, it taught me to be like very resourceful.
A lot of people think they're miles away from a great life. Dude, they're inches away.
Find someone that's done what you're doing. Don't give them excuses. No matter what you think, you can't fail.
Hey guys, what's going on? Andy Elliott. I'm here today with my buddy DJ Thielen, and I want to tell you something. What we're going to talk about in this video is how to get rich with no money. Now, I want you to understand this. Number one, I'm in front of a guy that has proved, and obviously he's very wealthy, that you can get rich with no money. Not only does he do it, he's made over 4,000 deals, I think is what we were just talking about, right? Yeah. In the real estate space. And he does it with cheap homes. He creates wealth. And now listen, I want to tell you something. This may be something where you're like, oh man, I don't do that. Can I explain this? Just listen to this full podcast. Let's explain how money works. A lot of people, the reason why they never become wealthy is because they never understand money. And I think money education is just, it's only taught by people who have created money. It's not taught by professors. It's not taught in school. It's taught by people who have created wealth. So anytime someone is willing to share how they created wealth, especially with no money, like some of you right now, you're like, I don't have any money, but then you're like, I don't want to learn this. Well, that just means that you want to stay broke. So I love you guys. I want you to listen to my brother DJ. He's going to let it rip. DJ's an amazing guy, amazing dad. He played for the Giants, which is cool. So he's an athlete, but as he's gotten older, I think after sports, you said your new sport became real estate.
Entrepreneurship.
Yeah, entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And so he's gonna share a lot of stuff with you today. Number one, it's gonna change your life. Number two, tactically, he's gonna teach you how you can do this on your own. And number three, he has a crazy freaking story. So some of you, the reason why you might not stick around is because you don't think you're worth it. You don't think something like this would work for you. And those are all lies. Okay? So DJ, I'm grateful to have you here.
Good to see you, buddy.
Man, let it rip. Let us have it. I'd love it for you to tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah.
But maybe start with just like what you're doing right now, and then let's back into the start and then work our way into like the strategy, how people could use this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Right now, I have Empire Real Estate built. So we have different components of the company, kind of like spokes on a wheel, right? So I learned that many years ago that, it's great to build off one thing, but then you want to add on and kind of bolt on to things that vertically integrate and align. So I have a company. It's a turnkey real estate investment solution for people that, everyday people that are just looking to put their money somewhere. But the challenge with people, especially in these cheap home markets, right, which we'll get into, is doing this from a distance is really dangerous, right? And we'll get into my first experience and the craziness on that. But so we do a couple things. So one, we have a turnkey real estate solution for people that say, hey, I just want you to find get me the deals, fix them, rent them, manage them, and just handle everything, right?
Okay.
Deal with lawn mowing and deal with code, and I don't want to
take care of it all.
We take care of everything.
Okay.
So we have our turnkey real estate solution. We've done over 4,000 deals in 20 years now, exactly, and so that's our main company. And then, you know what, Andy? I started teaching people how to just do what I did. It was kind of a natural fit, right? So I started teaching people how to do this, and that has grown and exploded, and that's called Cheap Homes University. So really just teaching people how to get rich with cheap homes. That's our motto and our niche.
That.
Yeah. So yeah, man, we have the turnkey solution.
How did you learn this?
Oh man. So that's
obviously over 20 years you kind of figured it out, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, this is a question because let's say someone's watching this at some point, they're like, I want to do this or I want to learn more. Do you have a coaching program that you help people and teach them? Or
Yes.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So or someone may want to use you as your service, right?
Yes.
How does someone reach out to you during this entire time?
The easiest way is
Like
through Instagram.
Right, through Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay, what is your Instagram?
It's at D.J. Thielen, Thielen.
Okay, I got it. So guys, right now I'm going to put it on the screen. Just make sure you go to his Instagram. You guys can follow him, and you can shoot him a direct DM. Ask him any questions. Mentorship. How can I do this?
I think it's got a button. If they hit text, it'll text my cell. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, there we go. I just want to make sure. So, all right. So let's let it rip. So
Okay.
I was asking how Like how
How
you
to
figured
how to
this
learn,
out.
yeah.
Where did
So
you start in residential real estate?
so yeah, so kind of to go back. So like anything in life, um, growing up poor, single mom, no dad in the mix, and my brother was like my brother Derek, who he and I are super close, and he was the studious kid, and I was the kid that was the super athlete running the streets.
Yeah. Yeah.
So getting in trouble, and but I think growing up, I didn't learn through books like he did. He learned how to do things through books
Mm-hmm.
and reading. I learned how to do things through doing it.
Mm.
And
Yeah, me
so,
too.
yeah, so over time, I started to understand that about myself. Like, hey, anything I'm going to do, if I just jump in the water and start swimming,
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm going to figure it out, right? Like playing pro ball, I mean, you fail 7 out of 10 times. So failure it didn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to swing the bat. So, but also, Andy, and I'm going to get to your answer, growing up poor, it taught me to be like very resourceful, because when you don't have money, you have to find ways to get things without using money,
Yeah.
right? So like at 10 years old, uh, at 10 years old, the old arcade games
Yeah.
that have the coin return on the bottom,
Yeah.
they have the door. So I learned how to uh, take a penny and put it in the coin return and flick it up, and it would hit the same thing as the quarter. So basically, I learned how to play video games with pennies at 10, straws at 11. I could take a straw and rack up 100 credits in a Donkey Kong game in like 30 seconds, right? So I was like the popular kid to go to the arcade with,
You were the hacker.
I was a hacker, man. Yeah, but and those things in our life that are a blessing. We think they're a curse growing up, like, oh, I'm poor, don't have any money. And we don't realize till later, man, that was a real blessing, because if I wasn't, I wouldn't have thought outside the box and come up with these
So good.
just unbelievable ways to do things, right? And so from an early age, I was really wired that to look at things almost backwards. When I started doing that, I would look at, I didn't realize till I got older that I didn't realize till I'm 53 now, till I was almost 50, that I was even a creative. But I just understood that I always looked at things different. So once I got into real estate, I was quickly able to look at things almost backwards again, right? And find strategies, which we'll get into, and ways to do things that nobody else was. No one was teaching it. There was no book on it. There was no, video on it. And so I just more or less, created it and then just brought it to the masses.
Amazing. I love it.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah.
And you've been a creative your whole life.
I have.
And a lot of people, there's a book that I read, it's called Linchpin.
Uh-huh.
And it talks about the new revolution, how to stand out, how to be different, how to make relationships that others can't, how to become indispensable. Talks about the factory worker, right? Like back in the old days, there were the factory worker and the owner, which means there was the employee and then there was the employer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now there's a third kind of person, okay? And it's the linchpin. And the linchpin is the artist.
That's good.
It's the inner genius. It's the person that literally everything that they do in life, they just see it a little bit differently, and they do it a little bit differently. And it doesn't mean somebody watching this right now is like, because a lot of people watch things like this, and they'll be like, oh, I need to be an entrepreneur. And they'll go quit their job. And that's not at all what the linchpin means. It means to go back and do your job differently. To go back and just do it differently than anyone else has ever done in the world. And so you've been a creative since you're young. You figured all these little things out because, that's the linchpin. There's like a revolution to you to figure out how to.
Wow, I got to get
master
that
this
book,
thing.
man.
So good, dude.
You'll
Number one, it's one of those books that become a highlighted, underlined, markered, scribbled out, pictures posted on social media. I mean, everything. I tear it up, man. I can't even reread what I read when I'm done.
Yeah.
Because I start scribbling in the whole book, circling, drawing arrows. It's like my mind is just like running, and it's validation that for anybody that wants a big life right now, that all it is just a decision away from like becoming a different person. Jim Rohn said that, and this is how you change your life. But if you don't like, your life right now. If you don't like how much money you're making, you don't like your bank account, you don't like your relationships, you don't like the way you look, you don't like your body fat percentage, or whatever, right? Like, if you don't like it, he's like, you can change it. Like,
100%.
And people are like, how? And he's like, it's simple.
Make a choice.
Well, who you are right now is attracting that.
Yeah.
And he said, that's where people are like, dude, I don't want to own that.
Yeah.
Like, you're telling me I'm the problem? Yeah. I mean,
Well,
yeah,
they say
sucks.
the first step in transformation is oh God, what was it? I'll think of it here. It's awareness.
Yeah,
right?
self-awareness
Yeah,
and self-assessment is like auditing yourself.
Yeah.
Dude, the greatest gift you could ever give yourself is time working on you.
Yeah.
And if you don't ever take that time, you'll never notice all of the greatness in you and all the little things that you could have tweaked and fixed. A lot of people think they're miles away from a great life. Dude, they're inches away.
Totally agree.
And they overplay it. So I just want to say, like, no matter where someone is, as you're given this testimony, this story of like how your life changed, and then also some of the skill that you added and the things that you learned.
Yeah, I mean,
anyone can do it.
Really can. And I'll share some tips and tricks and hacks and things here. But we all I think the thing that I come to realize, I've always been a giver. I've always loved helping people. When I started understanding, like, we've all been through mess. We've all been through, be it, abuse or, molestation or, some kids, I mean, it's the list goes on and on.
Yeah,
and so
any of that stuff, and no one will speak up about it.
Yeah.
So people live in shame.
Yeah.
And they feel like
I didn't speak about, I was, abused by a babysitter when I was young, and first time I brought that up was on stage. I think Grant spoke on that stage, but and it just came out like it was like God almost going, you know what? I don't even know where it came from. I got to get rid of this.
Yeah.
But it was people in social media world where there's so much fugazi and a lot of, people want people that are authentic and they're speaking from the heart, and also they're living what they're saying, right?
Very rare.
Got to be in alignment. And so I think that's just what I aim to be. And yeah, man, just be myself and wear my leather boots and my Bapes and rock what I like, man.
And so if I'm going back, like you said, grew up poor, didn't have a lot of money.
Yep.
You was a renegade as a kid.
Yeah.
So what happened? So when you graduate school?
Graduated school. Went to thank God I graduated high school, barely. But then I went to a junior college, right? And I wanted to go to California. My mom couldn't afford it. Another one of those things, you look back, connect the dots, and go, man, that was a blessing, right? Yeah. But you're pissed off initially. So I wanted to go to California with my buddies, man. I'm, 18, whatever. So ended up going to community college, Mountain Community College in Oregon. Long story short, had a great sophomore year, was in the San Francisco Giants took me. I was their 6th pick in 91, drafted me super high. And so that was, and I was, young. And back then in that era, you didn't see a lot of 18-year-old, 19-year-olds. It wasn't as common as it is now, right? It was like, oh man, I was the youngest one on my team always, like every year. So, but I say that, that was the beginning, and then, did that for 5 years. Met a gal, I had a kid unplanned, who, you'll be hanging with here, and Devin. And yeah, man, life just peeled a different path. And so I started my first company. I sold it in 2005 and pocketed a little over $1 million. And then that was the beginning of me wanting to get into real estate. So I always watched the shows on TV, the Carlton Sheets and the all the, the old school stuff, right?
You dream.
Yeah, and it was like, there was always, Andy, it's crazy, man. There was always like this pull of interest. Like it was crazy. It's like a magnet. But obviously, like my mom never drove a car, never owned a home. So it's like, well, I'm not, who am I going to learn from, right?
Yeah.
Like,
That
So
stuff doesn't happen in our bloodline.
no, no. So I ended up, going. I went to a seminar. It was a Robert Allen seminar in Kiyosaki, and that was really. So I came away from that, and
Did that change your life?
oh, dude, that didn't change my life. I think that was the
Or a
that was
spark?
the yeah that was a spark. Yeah,
I always tell
that
people,
was a spark.
A lot of people underestimate the value of like what a podcast could do from someone, or a speaker, or an event, or a training program. It's just they underestimate what can happen. I mean, I watched something in 2019 in November, and I almost didn't watch that. And if I wouldn't have, I wouldn't be here.
Wow.
I mean, but like, so I was asking, because I always ask people like, so what was the, like at that moment, what was the bridge?
Yeah, that was a spark, and from that, going back to learning by doing, right? People are like, oh, hey, let's get together and let's read these books. I go, dude, I ain't reading any of those books. I'm going online and I'm going to buy some stuff. Like that was me, right? So I jumped in the deep end. I bought 10 homes. Crazy story. I bought 10 homes for $50,000 total. Like
Wow.
10, so 5,000 a home. And I flew out there, and the first home's torn down, right? And I'm freaking out. I call the guy, his number's disconnected. I'm like, oh man, here we go. I knew, right? I was like, oh, here we go. So, but that was the start, and it led me there, right? It was like, I think so many times people want to jump the whole staircase, or even see the whole staircase. And I think what I've learned is you just got to take that next stair, and only then will the next stair light up. And so I did that, and my brother and I grew up Steeler fans, so I bought some homes in Indiana, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Ohio, and I said, well, I'm just gonna focus on one area and learn this. And I was living in Seattle. I'm gonna bring it back to Seattle. And so I'll learn on the cheap stuff, because if I make mistakes, it's going to cost me less, right? And then I'll bring what I learned back and do it where I live. And that never happened. So,
So
life peeled that different path again, like it does for us.
Yeah. But
So
you didn't quit.
Didn't quit, man.
I
No.
want to let everybody know that you didn't quit.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why you made it.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, I think we're raised in school. I was just telling someone this the other day. We're raised in school that if we fail, we're in trouble.
Oh yeah.
We're not only in trouble in school, but our parents are gonna, get a butt whooping when we get home. I mean, my mom was Italian. Break out the metal, steel, pasta spoon, right? And so.
I hated those wooden spoons.
Oh, dude, she used like a steel one. So I probably still got marks. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that was, we're taught that failure is such a bad thing, right? If you fail, you're going to get in trouble. So as people get older, they resist doing things they're going to fail at, because subconsciously, I believe, this is my belief, that a lot of people are, their subconscious is wired that if I fail, I'm going to get in trouble. So they resist. They don't want to get in trouble, right? Or have pain. And so they just resist going for their dreams and taking chances, man.
Yeah.
So
true.
yeah.
So what happens?
So basically from that, I picked up 25 doors my first year in 05. Obviously, was a mess, trying to do it from a distance. But again, right, contractors run off with money. I couldn't find good management. But again, alluding to what you just said, you just keep going, man. You just get back up. You keep getting up. You got to have grit. You have to have, in any entrepreneur, you have to have grit. You've got to be resilient. And you really got to, just like in sports, you just got to believe that, you just have to believe in yourself more than you don't, I think.
Facts.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, and just know that, hey, I'm just going to keep going. So I did. In 2006, I had a buddy come to me, hey, let me buy a house. I sold him a house for $50,000 fixed up that rented for like $600 at the time. Now that house will rent for $1,200 or $1,300. And yeah, man. And that was the, by not quitting, right? When the going got tough, and just staying in the game. and just knowing I was going to get more at bats. That ended up happening, and so that was a spark to create my turnkey operation, which now we've successfully sold over 4,000 properties to investors. I know it's looking back. I'm like, oh, like it's wild. But now we're able to help everyone. There's a lot of people that hear about these cheap homes in Ohio and Michigan and Pennsylvania and Louisiana, all these markets. But they either try to do it on their own, and if they try to do it on their own, I can tell them the exact potholes they're going to hit. Yeah. And so now it's like, hey, just work with us, right? We can eliminate you could take you around the mud, have you miss the potholes. You're not going to lose money. You're not going to get punched in the face and knocked out. Because if people try doing it on their own, what happens is they don't have a mentor or guidance, right? Is they take an L, and then they're like, oh, real estate's not for me, or you know what, this buying homes out of state it doesn't work, right? And it's like, and so if we can help people alleviate that and not have to kind of go down that road with taking a bunch of punches and having losses, and we call it collapsing decades into days, right? Yeah. So so that's really what we do now, right? And we have a lot of our own rentals, of course, that we own. So because my team is in the trenches, doing it every day, like you guys are, right? We're able to. We're in alignment. Yeah. We talked about that. So because we're in alignment, we can tell people how to navigate the water very quickly, and where they would have no idea even what to do. Yeah. And so so that's been great. And man, I'll share if you want some tips and tricks and hacks on the no money stuff.
Yeah. So I know this. There's some people watching. This could totally change their whole life, and that's the reason why they join every day, is to just get some kind of value, to figure out like what's next, like what else am I missing in my life? Yeah. What don't I know?
Yeah. No, man. And so I think to share with the audience like some good stuff here. So a lot of people hear like, oh, I can do this with no money, right? And then you have the opposite end, people going, no, you can't do it with no money. You need some money, right? You got to pay for closing costs. And you have all these different, different opinions, and right. And so, but here's the reality is, the number one thing that I would share with people is, if you really want to go fast, there's two ways. You can hop on whether it's us or somebody that has a service like us, get with a turnkey provider that has everything under one roof. And the reason is because, like with us, we get our clients the properties, fix them, rent them, manage them, but we have an incentive to make sure that the management side and all that they're happy with things. Because if they're not happy, they're not going to buy more properties, and you cut off your number one source of business, which is repeat business, right? In regards to the no money, there's three main ways to do it. Number one is to really master, right? What's called seller financing. So this is where people own the properties free and clear. And you just have to, we coach and mentor and teach people exactly how to do this. And I've had a guy last year, the first guy that I ever took under my wing last year and coached specifically on this, in 1 year did 31 deals. And he did one deal before I met him in 2 years. And he texts me, I would say at least 2-3 times a month, thanking me, you changed my life. And just, his name's Eric. And then that really sparked me to go, my fiance, Kristen, said, babe, like, you got a gift. This is what you got to teach people, right? How to do this. Yeah. So number one, Andy, is, what's called seller financing, where you can find people that own the homes free and clear, but that's step one, right? And people go, well, yeah, I tried that, but no one wanted me to sell their house on seller finance. Well, what did you say? Well, I asked them if they wanted to sell their house on seller finance, and I'm like, well, that's why they said no, right?
Yeah.
How are they supposed to say
How are you
yes to
framing it?
something? How are you framing it? How are they supposed to say yes to something that they don't even know how it works?
Yeah, facts. I say this all the time.
They don't know how it works. They don't know how it's going to benefit them.
Yeah.
Right. So I have a great framework that I've created over the years, done hundreds of deals like this. So if you can, so with seller financing, imagine you don't have to go to a bank, you don't need credit, you don't need credentials, and if you just know how to frame this call,
Yeah.
and there's Pace Morby who's out here.
Yeah.
Pace.
Yeah.
So he's creative finance, right? This is one of the strategies, seller financing, right?
Yeah, facts.
So
And seller financing is not always needing a lot of money down, because usually someone will work out some kind of plan with you that's a custom plan. There's no bank involved, no inquiries in most cases, unless they just pull your credit for a check.
No, and usually, no one's gonna on a seller finance deal.
Yeah.
They just, if you can help them, like any sale, if you can help them solve their problem and understand their why and create a heart connection with them, usually that you're gonna have a high probability to close the deal, right?
Facts.
So
that.
I mean, but yeah, seller financing is great because usually you can it's no money down, and people go, well, but you're gonna have closing costs, and well, I mean,
That's in everything.
well, but either pay the $1,000 or $2,000, or if you really want to do with no money, get a loan for the $2,000 or $3,000 in closing costs, and say, hey, your money's sitting there. Would you guys like to make some extra money?
Yeah.
And you use private money if you want, right? To actually for the closing costs. So now you truly have no money into the deal.
Yep.
And it's completely scalable because you can do there's no or limit on loans, so you can do
where do you find these properties at when you're looking? Like if somebody was like in any market, right? Because you're in Florida. Do you only do business?
We do. Well, ours is
you all
Pennsylvania, Ohio predominantly, but it's really in the cheap low cost markets, right?
Okay.
So
As an investor, you'll move into any market. It doesn't have to be where you live.
Oh God, no.
Okay.
No.
Good.
Live where you want to, invest where it makes sense.
That's really good.
I love that. That's a saying we've been saying for a long time.
You can do this anywhere.
You can do it anywhere. Now in the cheap markets.
You said low cost market.
Low cost markets, Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Indiana, areas like that.
Yeah, okay.
Louisiana.
Yeah.
But ultimately you can use this strategy anywhere, right? And I think so. Number one, where do you find the deals? Well, there's so much software now, right? Like
It'll find the deals for you.
Oh, so you can use PropStream, and there's so much. PropStream is great. It's $97 a month. It's nothing.
Yeah.
Everyone should have that. You can look up anything you want, but ultimately, Andy, is people could literally. So this is how to actually not use any money, even on your marketing.
Wow.
Right? Is go onto Zillow, right? So if people go into Facebook group, you can find a deal if you pound enough sand, which, if someone's has that grit, they can do it.
Yeah.
But the problem is, like on Facebook, there's a lot of wholesalers that say they're owners and they list stuff, but they're not the owner. And so because you can't solicit the truth and you can't get to, you can't cut a deal with them, right? Because they're not the owner. So on seller financing.
Yeah.
But just going on Zillow, looking at for sale by owner,
You just click for sale by owner.
and for sale by owner, segment it and start contacting them. And the key is do it every single day and be consistent. Create a text list that you're hitting them every week until you hear from them. And then also kind of a hack, a real hack. I was telling Eric and Tony about this, and is look at the houses for rent. There's no one in them.
Yeah.
And nobody's calling the houses for rent.
Yeah.
Right? So there's nobody in them.
Yeah.
They're not getting income.
They're hoping they get lucky.
And it's like, hey, Andy, I saw your house for rent. Um, and I was just calling to see if maybe you would be interested in selling if the price was right. I know you're looking to rent it, but would you be open to that?
Yeah, everybody would.
And so yeah, but again, so those are a couple really
Those are really good.
easy strategies that people can use outside of the software. Now, if someone goes deeper, there's cold callers you can hire. Like Eric has
like a call center.
the call center, right, which is Run It Remote, I think. And so we'll give him a free shout out on here.
Yeah.
But yeah, Run It Remote and companies like that can do the cold calling. That's a great way. Postcards and mailers to specific segmented list, like tire landlords, out-of-state owners, high equity.
People can do these part-time, right? I mean.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was envisioning because people watching this are like, oh yeah, I just don't have time to do that.
I mean,
Well,
Eric
you could do it part-time.
I mean, Eric that did 31 deals in a year, has 2 kids, a wife, and owned a cell tower company that he worked. You have another guy, Rob. He had 2 businesses, working 80 to 90 hours a week, and was still clicking deals. He made his biggest deal that I helped him with was 29.5, but I think 29,500. Let me make that clear.
Yeah.
But I think too, Andy, that people need to realize is a lot of people in this game get stuck and man, dude, Andy, I'm just happy if I can make $2,000 on a deal. Dude, if I can make $5,000, I'm good. And the problem with that is you get stuck. You get stuck at that level. And then it's harder to go. Yeah, and I tell people you should yes, that's fine. But you should really, I tell the people I mentor, I don't want you even targeting properties you can't make 20 grand. Like you should be making 20 to 40 grand every single deal because I want them thinking that way. So now they're looking for it, right? Because they're going to find whatever they look for. Not afraid to ask for it. So, that's a big part. But yeah, the no money, I mean, really it's coming up with creative strategies. Also private money lenders. So we have private money lenders. Listen, I mean, how many people do you know that work for your company that have a lot of money in a bank account? Probably your top sales guys, stuff like that. Probably.
Yeah, and a lot would determine what a lot means. I mean, a lot probably have 50 grand, but having
50 grand or
100 grand,
100
million,
yeah,
it's pretty rare.
Yeah. So, and then you look at what's that earning? 2%, 1%, maybe 4% if you're got an in. So, so then understanding how to approach people in a friendly manner. Hey, would you be interested in partnering on some deals? I'm getting homes at pennies on the dollar. Would you be interested in making some money passively and partnering with me? They put the money up. Now you have private money lenders that you're using none of your money, right? Learning how to raise money and raise capital is huge.
It's huge. Yeah. Nothing really teaches anybody that anymore.
There are, but I think people think it's harder than it is, right?
Yeah, because it feels like a cold call.
I tell people, dude, download any texting app. I don't know what you guys use, but download a texting app, right?
Yeah.
I have one called Hit 'em Up.
Yeah.
Put all the people in your phone book in that, and then send a text blast to all of them. And don't take out the psychos, right? But or the X's, right, and things like that. But you'll be shocked at the people that respond and are like, yeah, I'm interested. I got 100 grand. I got 150. Anyone could probably raise easily 200 to 300 grand if they just did that and sent out a simple message.
People are lazy.
People are lazy, man. And my fiance Kristen and I talk about it all the time. Is I think I don't want to classify the whole younger generation, but I think we had to really work.
Hard.
Didn't have a phone. I didn't have. It's dude, I had to go door knock. I had to use a freaking Thomas guy to drive to my appointments and miss exits and right. It was most people don't know what a Thomas guide is, but I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
Right. And so, but yeah, man, I think people make things harder than they are.
Facts.
And so, but just getting back to the ability to keep things simple, come up with a strategy, and really find someone that's doing what you want to do, and just shut up and do what they say. That's the hack, man. Yeah,
So well said.
model, mimic, master, right? So it just like find someone that's done what you're doing. Don't give them excuses, and just no matter what you think, just go out and execute and do what they say.
Yeah.
And like you can't fail.
Yeah. You're
Like
unstoppable.
even if you think you're gonna fail, if you have a good mentor that's guiding you, you know, a good mentor helps you believe more in yourself than you believe in you,
Facts. Every time.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're a phenomenal mentor.
Yeah.
And
But it's the truth. I mean, sometimes when I can't see something, I'm one handshake away, one person away from that mental edge, that mindset, that I need that coach to push me.
yeah.
You know, I just perform better, and sometimes I get comfortable, and I don't like that.
And people need community, right? You're only gonna go so far
Yeah.
trying to figure this out on your own. And I listen, people are gonna pay one of two ways: with a ton of time, which is way more valuable than money, and maybe a loss of a lot of money,
Yes.
or you just stroke the check now and save yourself a decade of headaches and stress and
Yeah,
time.
cut the check for
and
speed.
For speed, man.
Yeah.
That's it.
And all it takes is a little bit of focus and a little bit of attention and some work.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And having a good mentor, they'll be able to see the roadblocks before you can see them. One, two, when you hit a roadblock, they'll be able to tell. I mean, this happens all the time. Oh my God, DJ, I ran into this. There's this issue. I'm like, oh, that's an easy fix. What do you
Facts.
mean? I'm like, oh yeah, you just do this, this, and this. And they're like, you can do that, or you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's like,
You're good at solving.
what? Great at solving. Great at
So
solving.
good.
Yeah, like when my son Devin didn't make the flight last night. That's a whole nother story.
It
Love you,
happens.
kid. Love you, kid. Yeah, you just have to. I think with challenges and problems, Andy, if people just realize like what I tell my team, because I did this and it helped me. I'm gonna tell you what helped me is just realize at some point this challenge you're in, it's gonna be gone. It's gonna be solved. It's gonna be fixed, and it's gonna be fine. So why get worked up about it? It's gonna tomorrow, the next day, a week from now, a year from now, it's gonna resolve itself.
Doesn't even matter.
It won't even matter. And so, yeah,
There's a part of a business where you mature and stuff like that. Doesn't even matter anymore.
no,
And once you get that kind of maturity, you're really unlimited what you can do.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
So, guys, you're sitting here, you're listening to DJ. He's talking about, he grew up, again, not rich, parents a certain way, loves his family, grew up a renegade, was not like anyone else, decided to start taking his life serious, right? I mean, I think he got focused, got
as much as I
intentional.
could with ADD. But
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
It's a superpower, man.
It
I got
is.
the same
It is.
thing.
It is.
And he's sitting there today, 4,000 deals later.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And he just gave you the blueprint to how to kill it and crush it in life. And they may need to watch this once or twice so you can kind of understand, because if you haven't ever done it, it's like, I don't really understand. I kind of understand, but I don't. By the way, go to his Instagram and make sure you send him a DM. Number one, probably happy to jump on a call with him and help him on how to get involved in your turnkey real estate.
Yeah.
Or whatever, message you.
For people that have money and they don't have a lot of time, they're a business owner, they're an entrepreneur. Those people are perfect for us to help because we can go out and build their real estate portfolio, and they don't have any time on their behalf. We'll build it for them. So
That's huge.
yeah. So that for
If someone does it for you that's a pro at it, I mean, it just allows you to be mistake free.
Yeah, yeah. And then the people that are wanting to make the quick money, the wholesaling, right, all of that, like, yeah, we can show them. I mean, we show people how to double close, how to flip, how to even flip seller finance deals. So if they get a seller finance deal and they don't want to own it, they can flip it and make 10, 20, 50 grand.
So when you train people, you train them on multiple facets.
Oh yeah, I think you have
So
to.
they have multiple roads, multiple ways to make money.
Yeah.
What would you say? Obviously, anybody that has been watching this from zero to as much money as you want, he told you how to do it. You guys should have a clear play. You don't understand it, DM him, message him on Instagram. We'll put his handle. For anybody that's watching this right now that has never done anything like this, right? Let's say they're kind of interested, or they've done it and it didn't work out. They did it with the wrong person.
Yeah.
You could do that. What would you say to them as we're bringing this back? What would you say to them if there's any dragons, anything internally stopping them? They had the means, they had the funds, they could do it, but it just, I don't know, man. It sounds like something I'm not familiar with. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Is this hard to understand?
I think so. I always tell people, everyone talks about the area. Well, or they say, hey, if the numbers work, right? You probably heard that. If the numbers work, then it may. I said, well, it's not about the numbers. It's about the person that you're working with.
Facts.
That the driver of the car is going to either crash and burn you up and kill you, or they're going to take you to your destination.
I see people do this all the time.
Yep. So stop worrying about if the numbers work, and no, get with the right people, and then the location and all of that and the numbers, they got to still work, but they're focused on the wrong thing. They're focused on the money instead of the integrity and the quality of the person that's going to be driving this investment for them. And I think that's the biggest mistake I see, with a lot of people.
What is an ideal age to do what you're doing?
Oh man.
I mean, is it across the board? Is there an ideal age that you've seen do really well?
Well, like my son, I helped my son stack up, I don't know, 20, 30 grand. That's how he started his sneaker store years ago. Yeah. Right? So that's what he wanted to do. And, he didn't want to be in real estate. He had a dream and a vision, and God wanted him to start a Christian sneaker store, and that's what he did. And so.
And they're cool.
Yeah. Thanks, man. And so, but at the end of the day, any age. I think, obviously, like somebody has to have the ability to have a conversation. But shoot, man, anyone from 16 to 56. A lot of times, at 53, I see a lot of people my age that have gotten so beat up and bruised and battered, and they allow that, they think it's too late.
Facts.
Right? Or they think like, well, this isn't for me, or, man, I tried. You hear this a lot. Yeah, I tried that before. It didn't really work. Well, who'd you work with? And there's so many. We buy properties all the time that it's been a mess for years, and in 30, 60 days, that place is turned around, worth way more, and rented. So my question is, was it the property? No, it was the people, right? It always comes down to the people, in my opinion.
Always, every time.
Yeah, and the numbers kind of fall into place.
And you got to be willing to bet on you. Like you don't see people that bet on them anymore. So when they get an opportunity like right now to make a change or shift, it's like, nah, just, maybe next year.
Yeah.
And then procrastination is the devil's greatest tool.
Oh.
It's a thief of opportunity. I see it every day.
Yeah. You see it probably way more than I do.
I see people that we try to convince that they're worth it.
Yeah.
And they just don't. They say, oh, yeah, I know. And they just don't think they're worth it.
Yeah.
And you can see it. Their eyes tell it, their face, their language, their body. It's just, they're just ate up with like fear or being paralyzed.
Yeah.
To move or make a decision. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you have a YouTube channel?
I do, but after this event, I'm going to be.
Start putting some out.
Yeah, putting more stuff out there.
So if someone wants to consume some of your content to understand and learn a little bit about you, that's going to be on Instagram.
Yep.
And then you're also on Facebook or no?
Yep. Oh yeah.
On
Yeah.
Facebook too?
Yep. Facebook, LinkedIn. Yeah. All of it.
So you're everywhere.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're watching DJ right now and you're thinking, okay, from zero to, multimillionaire, how does that happen? Well, he said cheap homes, and that's the niche. That's the secret. And a lot of people can get hurt in real estate if they don't understand and know.
Even with cheap homes in Flint, Michigan, for $500 or at a tax sale, we buy a lot at tax sales for $500, but you don't know what to do with it. You put 60, 80 grand into it, and it's only worth 40. Well, you're upside down. So you need the right strategies.
Yeah, or you're screwed.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, you'll spin your treadmill your whole life.
Yep.
Make sure right now, guys, go to DJ's Instagram, message him directly, whatever it is. Make sure you follow him, message him, whether it's about anything that we talked about today. Just say, I saw you in Andy's podcast. This is what I need help with. I'm looking to get some more information on investing. How can I join your program? Whatever it is. He's killing it. He's crushing it. It's changed his whole life. He has the freedom to be here when he wants, because you're not clocking in and clocking out, in this industry.
Yeah.
You can start out doing it part-time,
Yeah.
until you make more money than your normal job, and then you can go full-time.
Well, I think freedom, a lot of people say they want freedom, right? We classify freedom as doing what you want, when you want, with who you want. And I think, not everyone wants that. But for those that do, you can't keep doing the same thing and get a different result, right?
Yeah.
You got to do something different.
You see it everywhere right now. And if you don't change, then nothing changes.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I think surrounding yourself with good, positive people that are a good influence, make a decision to make, 2 risks in 2025, who cares how it works out?
Yeah.
Take 2 risks. He said real estate's risk-free. I mean, it really is. I mean, even if it's a $5,000 property, it's still going to go up. Something's going to happen.
Yeah.
And, it's like...
And it's insured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's you never lose. I mean, people can lose on real estate just being an idiot. But when you're with an expert, you never lose.
Yeah,
And
rarely.
so,
Yeah.
And one of the things I love about DJ, I love his heart. I love what he stands for. I love that he's a comeback kid. You've come back in your life.
Yeah.
He's an underdog.
Many times.
Yeah, and all those times you could save someone. About 80% of those times they're going to have to go through it running with you.
Yeah.
It's just the truth. And also another thing is to finish, the shortcut. Everybody's always wanting the shortcut. How to be successful.
Yeah.
I think it's a mentor. I think it's
100%.
finding somebody to help you, and maybe it's just that guy for just 1 year, So, DJ has a mentorship program that can help you learn how to do these, and so you can do it on your own. And look, I know a lot of guys in wholesale real estate right now. A lot of those guys are, they're making $500,000 a year. I mean, I see their checks. It's just there's a lot of things that are available to anybody in the world right now who wants to get up, work hard, and learn.
100%. And the real wealth comes from, the real wealth comes long term, and it comes from owning real estate.
Yes.
Right? Offsetting. Facts. I mean, one quick thing, we didn't even talk about the reason that our turnkey operation is like anyone that has money, that's a doctor or lawyer, owns a business, should be doing this, is because of the bonus accelerated depreciation that Trump came out with. So they can buy 1 or 2 houses, maybe 3 investment properties, and if they owe 150 grand, now they owe nothing, right? So like anybody that is making a lot of money, if they buy enough real estate, they can, and that's a whole nother cost segregation study, but it's really simple. People just need someone that can guide them on that, right?
Yeah.
But even if it's like you're going to give 150 to, we have a friend that we're paying about 150 collectively. It's like, well, you can give it to there, or you can maybe nothing we have to worry about anymore with with the External Revenue Service coming. But ultimately, I think that when it comes to even saving money on taxes, that can help people build their wealth at the same time, not have to pay taxes on the money that they're making. So it's kind of a double whammy,
Yeah, guys, this is all money education. whether you're in this field or you're not in this field, if you Googled, what builds more millionaires than anything else in the world, I'm 100% sure it says real estate.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, I know it says it. And so, like, why would you not want to be, educated on that? And, maybe you start out dabbling in it a little bit, and then over time, like DJ's done, you're later in life and you look up and you're set because you had a little more confidence, to, dip your toe in a little bit more each time. Some of you out there you go all in. I'm an all in guy.
Yeah.
But, like you said, you can learn from someone. You can learn about it. You teach it. And so, guys, go hit them up on Instagram and let them know, obviously say, hey, man, I saw you on Andy's podcast. I want to set up a call, and whatever it is, DJ will guide you from there.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it, man. You're a great dad.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
It's going to be a cool weekend, man.
Yeah.
This dude's super fly. He got me these awesome shoes. They're just awesome. And he's awesome, man. It's just fine. And you could tell his heart's really good. So I like people who are really skilled that have really good hearts. I like that.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of people that I want to run with. So,
Yep.
and it's alignment. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yep.
We appreciate you guys. Love you, DJ. Thank you for being here.
Thank
man.
you, brother.
Appreciate you guys. Go follow him on Instagram right now, and then send him a message. And you guys have a blessed day, and we'll see you in the next podcast.